They feel like they fit.
Yeah.
I know it sounds daft, but
Yeah.
they never really felt like they fit before.
Hello and welcome back to part 2 of our cycling shoe setup guide. This is the second video in the series. If you haven't watched the first video, best to check that one out first. It's right here. Otherwise, stay tuned. One of my favourite products here at Bicycle, which is administered in pretty much every Bikefit now, is the G8 2620 modular footbed. This is a semi-custom footbed which has 5 different arch pieces which are movable medially, laterally and fore and aft. One of the pitfalls of an off-the-peg arch support is that the arch support usually isn't high enough, and when it is, it's usually in the wrong place. This allows us to customise it as per each foot, but working on the fact that no 2 feet are the same, even if they're attached to the same human being. And it also allows for further modification through a relatively rigid heel cup, which allows for us to adhere heel wedging, but also tends to keep the hind foot nice and stable in the heel cup of the shoe. If you look at a lot of arch supports out there, if the heel cup is rounded at the bottom, it will tend to promote a rolling of the footbed inside of the back of the shoe. One of the things that we're led to believe in cycling is that most instability tends to come from the forefoot. Typically isn't the case. It usually comes from the subtalar complex or the ankle joint, and we're looking for a lot of stability around the ankle, which is one of the reasons why we love this footbed so much. It's also relatively cost effective, it's quick and easy to administer, and it doesn't really have a failure rate. By that I mean, if you have full custom orthotic and you get it wrong, there's a bit of an onus on the fitter to make it right rather than simply throwing away the blank and administering a new one. In my experience, custom orthotics, typically from brands like CDAS, are really only as good as the person that molds them. If you've got someone who's really experienced in doing it, they'll make you some great footbeds. If you've got a bike shop which has gone and bought all the tooling, probably not so much. That's just one aspect of it. There's a biomechanical element to arch support as well, which we usually treat through the means of wedging, either at the forefoot, rarely, or at the hind foot in the heel. This is intended to block pronation of the ankle joint that typically occurs when you have excessive arch collapse throughout the foot. Typically associated with individuals who sit at desks for a long time, the plantar fascia underneath the foot starts to get a little bit softer, which can lead to excessive pronation of the ankle joint. It's worth noting that there can be a number of other reasons why you would have excessive pronation, genetics being one of them. Proprioception is essentially your body's spatial awareness. It's what stops us from walking into things all the time. The way to consider it is your body's covered in millions of proprioceptors. They're like sensors. And in order for one of these groups of sensors to be monitored, they need to be stimulated because there are too many for them to be monitored simultaneously. So that's where arch support comes in. It helps re-establish a connection between the brain and the feet, which is lost when you put your foot into a shoe, any shoe. Particularly a cycling shoe, ice skate, rollerblade, ski boot, something that doesn't allow a natural flexion of the foot. So what the arch support is doing is helping re-establish that connection that's lost between the brain and the foot, which in turn helps aid stability through the knees, the hips and the pelvis. To greatly demonstrate the importance of arch support, we've come to find that we can reduce pressure going through the saddle by up to 50% just by putting arch support in the cycling shoes. For those riders out there who are experiencing saddle problems, it might not be your saddle. Here's an example. This is a pressure map of the saddle. The numbers are microbars, the barometric pressure. This is without arch support. This is with arch support. You can see that there is a 40% difference in pressure distribution from one side of the saddle to the other, whereas when we administer arch support, the pressure distribution becomes significantly more balanced. This is part of the benefit of improving proprioceptive awareness of the foot because it helps the rider establish where exactly their feet are and as a result, in turn, where their butt is on the saddle. We also quite often use this system as a means of establishing feedback from our customers as to which foot might feel more supported or more stable. This in turn allows us to correctly administer additional support where needed. One other benefit of this system is it's very easily repeatable. If somebody comes in for a pair of footbeds and then they want another pair for a second pair of shoes, it's very, very easy to get exactly the same setup for greater consistency. So to summarise the second part of our cycling shoe setup guide, please don't overlook arch support. It may not be sexy.
I know it. You're right. That's not sexy.
It may not be a really cool thing that you take a photograph and put on Instagram, but it does make a big, big difference. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Stay tuned for the next one. And remember, if you haven't watched the first video in this series, it's here again.